I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world, and that's our job.
You have to make it chill. What up, DMV? We getting money whole time, fucking bitches whole time, rapping DC whole time. We getting money whole time, fucking bitches whole time, rapping DC whole time. Your shine whole time, whole time, doing this whole time, whole time, whole time, doing this whole time, whole time, whole time, doing this whole time, man, you're back, whole time, doing this whole time.
Like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing.
Welcome to a pod named Kickback. It's like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing, also known as the Black CNN, and the revolution will be televised. I'm No Breaks New, the righteous ratchet. If you throw it, I'll catch it. If you got it, I'll match it. Every week, we right back at it. I am the Black Savage, the Magneto of my people. And this week, my very special guest, man, she has 18 names, just like me. But Lakira, LC, I'm gonna call you Lakira. I call you your mama named Lakira. I'm gonna call you Lakira. So this is one of my homies. This is somebody I've been cool with. I done played spades with. We done ran a table with. She done talked stuff against me running the table, but she was on the opposite. We done went through the whole gamut, y'all. But I got my homie Lakira in the building, and well, tell them how they should address you and what they should know you from and what you want them to know you of.
Hey y'all can easily just call me LC, letter L, letter C, LC the realtor, or oh that's LC, like very simple. You can call me Lakira too, but LC is.
All right, so I guess I'll say why I think why I found it so important to have you on the podcast. She has a Facebook page. I'm not sure if everybody follows it, but she has a Facebook page, and her Facebook page is popping. I mean, she has questions of the day, stories, moments, and I see people really, gravitating towards it, and it's gangster to me because as a person who does the podcasting thing, as a person that takes this, who does it every day, been doing it for years and growing and doing everything that I want to do. I see her out here almost effortlessly just grabbing the masses. Like, come answer my question. Come listen to what I have to say. I have a thought. Do you have a thought? And it's effortless. I mean, it works. And people gravitate towards you. And that's why I wanted you here. So to get my audience, I did her Facebook popping. And she got some very creative ideas, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
It's so funny. Somebody asked me today, like, do you write this stuff down, or does this just come up on your brain? I'm like, my brain goes a mile a minute.
and I know it, and I know it. And I want to get into everything your brain is discussing with you by yourself in front of my audience so we can have a really good conversation. But okay. I do want to, of course, follow the format. And in following the format, let me get my stuff queued up. And following the format, every week has a high and a low. And
now, high low. Who wants to go first?
Since this is your first time joining me for high low, I'm going to go first and give you a chance to think of whatever you need to think of so that you can tell us your high and your low.
Okay.
And this is a weird week because I got highs. I got nothing but highs. I realized early on in the week that I was looking at my best week as far as podcast streaming numbers. I was like, oh shit, like this is going crazy. And what made it so crazy was last week I talked about it. Um, and last week's audio was destroyed. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry, y'all. It came out so crazy. I do recognize that we've been on the charts in like 10, 12 different countries. And then randomly last week, the audio was horrible. I apologize. It won't happen again. I was embarrassed by it, but I felt the love regardless. And what I realized was that the numbers were up, the views were up, people were listening, people were watching, and to be doing this show, it's been a podcast for like 5 years, but it's been a show for like 11 years, and I had my best numbers ever. I don't have a co-host. If you guys haven't noticed yet, the podcast is me and me. And then I'll invite on friends or people I think are interesting to have the conversation with me. But this is just me. And I had my best week ever last week was huge. And I think y'all kickbackers, man. And for y'all that don't know, like, well, who the kickbackers? I don't understand what the kickbackers is. The kickbackers are people that listen to a pod named Kickback. This is a pod named Kickback. People who will listen and support it, I call kickbackers. So clap for that. And if you hear me scream out loud, kickbackers, I'm talking to you, and I am thanking you. Aside from that, the other good, because I didn't have a high and a low and a high and a high. I'm an entrepreneur, and Lakura, she could probably talk about this a little bit her damn self, because I've tried different things. I've been, working towards getting this independence that I had back when I was a rapper and not trying to be in corporate America. And I follow her journey. I told her, like, there are like 8 Black women in Georgia that just inspire me. She's been one of those women. And I ain't no shame in my game. Like I get my inspiration where I get it from. If you don't like it, fuck you. But it was some sisters out here that was just doing it. And they were doing it on a level that I wasn't doing it at that time. And I took inspiration from it. I took motivation from it. And I knew I had to get my shit together. And Kira is one of the women that showed me that, like, oh, like we should be here. And I don't even think we ever had a conversation like that, Kira, but just so you know, that's something that I took from our interaction. How you feel about that?
You know what? I really appreciate it. Being an entrepreneur has its ups and downs, and it's not an easy journey. It's not for the faint of heart. And sometimes you want to be all in and you're excited about yourself, and then other times, like, things aren't going how you planned, or the money isn't looking how you need it to, and you still got to pay bills and all of that. So it can be a little bit of a downer, but everyone goes through that. So for you to, like, see some of the things that I've done in the past, social media wise, how I gain business, how I'm out here working, and to take inspiration from it, it means a lot to me. I have ups and downs just like everyone else.
That's what's up. But I didn't want to say that. I wanted to say it to you privately, but it's cool I got to say it to you in front of, everybody. But yeah, like you've definitely inspired me. Be clear.
I appreciate definitely. You told me this once before, like a year or two ago. So I appreciate you mentioning
so
it.
So I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I didn't have a low of the week. Those are my 2 highs. What were your high and low of the week? What was your high?
You see, I'm sitting in my car. I was supposed to get in earlier, but I just got in from the airport, and of course I wanted to really, really, really make the show. But came from Spain, and I really wanted to go there.
Gotta clap that up for Spain. One time for Spain.
Oh, I always wanted to go to Barcelona, so I was able to make that happen. and it was a dope experience. It was like, like a medieval, like a old time New York, but in a beautiful, beautiful city. Like, it's beautiful, it's bright, it's light, it's nice. Like, everyone's very friendly. It's a safe place. However, my low of the week
Okay.
is also leaving Spain and headed to the airport. Spain's really big on being known for pickpocketing, nonviolent crimes. But someone definitely stole my book bag from right next to me without me noticing. Got a lot of my
Damn.
like and stuff. So that's my low. That's my low.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's an amazing high and a horrible low, but I mean, that balances out to a mid, right?
You gotta roll with the punches. It was a good trip. I got the full Spain experience.
Well, there you go. There you go. And that is all we got ask for as humans, right? Like get
Right.
the full experience. And I'm not inviting all the, robbery into my experience. I'm just saying that we know that the full experience is the full experience. But
Right.
Spain, how long were you in Spain?
It wasn't long. It was a real quick trip. Honestly, I was just in the bed one day and I was like, yeah, I think I'm about to go to Amsterdam. It's like, Amsterdam. I was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to Amsterdam. He was like, you ain't going nowhere. I was like, oh, I ain't going nowhere. Oh, word. You know what? I got up and just packed the bag, went to the airport, and said, I'm going to Spain. So I was there. I told myself I was going to do one day, but I ended up doing 3.
Okay. And see, that's still an inspiration to me because I ain't jumping up from South Georgia like I'm going to Spain tomorrow. Like that ain't what's going on. So you still inspiring, still inspiring. You know what I'm saying? And let's take a look at what we got cooked up here. Oh, so we got our viral story of the week, and these people are going much further than Spain. Y'all hear what this viral story is.
My left stroke just went viral.
Our viral story of the week is there was an Air Force commander that was in Congress today talking about the fact that aliens are real. And the United States of America has these aliens, have captured them, captured their ships, and they are non-human. This doesn't shock me because I always thought it was very arrogant of humans to think that they were the only species in the universe. I thought it was ridiculously arrogant. Like, what's wrong with y'all? For people that didn't believe. And I kind of was a little nudged by the fact that they had to be better than us. Like they travel to Earth and we can't travel to them. They so advanced and we're not advanced. That irritated me a little bit too. But I never thought that they didn't exist. And I don't think that there's a world where we're not crash landing on their planets and they holding us. I believe it. Like, why wouldn't I believe it? This one planet got every person on Earth on it. Well, not every person on Earth. Every person in the universe is on this one planet. Doubt it. Highly doubt it. I am curious to see what these aliens look like and if we were able to communicate and what's coming. Because we've been talking this alien stuff on a government level the last 5 years. So it's been feeling like they coming. They're trying to, like the American government is trying to prepare us. Like, yeah, so we admit that there was one spaceship that we didn't know. That was like 5 years ago. Then it was like, yeah, we think it's aliens. That was 4 years ago. And then 3 years ago, it was like, there may have been something that crash landed. We don't know how to describe it. That was, I guess 3 years ago. 2 years ago, it was like, yeah, it's alien life form or something, but we don't know too much about it. And then last year, it was like, yeah, there's planes are like drones and we don't know what they're doing and they go real fast and we don't know how to explain it, but it's probably just drones. And now they're like, no, we got them. We captured them. They're here. And I'm excited to find out what we don't know, but I'm also a little trepidatious. Like, What don't we know? How you feel about that?
I don't know. I'm like excited, and a small part of me is a little bit scared. But I was having this conversation with a friend earlier. Like, imagine when you mentioned they can get to us and we can't get to them, like how long it takes to travel through time, through space. Like, if they are however many light years far from us, you think about it like you're getting on a plane, and think about it, Korea is already in tomorrow. So Korea is in the future because they're already in tomorrow. So we have to figure out how to travel those 12-hour distances, but to get to them, it's like you're traveling 300 years to get to where the aliens are. And like you got to have something that's fast enough to get you 300 years without taking 300 years. So like Korea, we got to figure out how to get 12 hours away ahead of time in the future, but not take so long to get there. So we got an airplane that'll get you there in a certain amount of time, and then you're in the future. Like, they're already in tomorrow. So like, if Korea was 6 years away or 80 years away, then what would we take to get us there quick? And then we're still young because we got there quicker, but then we come back here and everybody here is 80 years older. So it's like they had to figure out how to get 300 years here, but we can't figure out how to get there. And so I'm curious just to find out how soon it's going to take for us to get more advanced technology, because they're so far advanced than us and they have so many more years ahead of us.
How you know it ain't take them 80 years to get here and they ain't sent infants?
Hey, look.
So I'm giving them credit. I hate that we think aliens smarter than us. They probably are.
Could be, because there's so many years ahead of us, so they should.
How we know they're years ahead of us? Like, what makes us think that?
They are. They're out in space. Like, they all the way out
Well,
there.
you know, Earth ain't the hub. I'm not saying it is. I'm not being egotistical like I criticize other people.
No, I get it.
But like, why do you think? Like, why we just assume they ahead of us? Why we assume that?
Yeah, we ain't made it there, or maybe we have
How
made
you
it
know
there.
we didn't make it there?
They just ain't telling us about it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how you know we ain't made it there already?
But there's other places just like Earth with air and water and land and greenery, and them aliens probably look a lot like us. And so me and my friend were discussing, like, what if we are the aliens?
Have you ever seen Mission to Mars?
No.
Watch it. I tell you what, if you don't watch it before I get back to the A, we're gonna watch it. This movie is my theory on life on Earth.
Okay, wait.
It could be totally wrong.
Wait, let me tell you what we talked about first, in case it's what you're gonna say.
Okay.
Because I don't want to say it afterwards and then it sounds like we just caught. Because I feel like it might. All right, so he said, what if aliens, because they couldn't get here and survive in a certain amount of time, they sent like human DNA or whatever mixture to Earth, because there was just dinosaurs and stuff here at first. So what if they sent some sort of human DNA here, and then we grew and we populated the Earth, but we are like the aliens, and so they come back and attack on us.
That's close. That's not what the movie is, but it is close enough to wonder. So that's very, very close. Very, very close. Do you want me to? Well, I hate to spoil it for you guys. Spoiler alert. Do you want me to tell you what happened in the movie?
No, don't tell me the stuff that I don't. Okay. I need.
All right, I ain't gonna tell you. Bet we'll catch it. We'll catch it. But yeah. So that's the high low, or I guess the rival story of the week. But I'm just curious as to what they're going to tell us and how they're going to break it down. So that's why I think it's the viral story of the week. One, for the stories that we have and the stories that we'll learn, but also what they gonna tell us.
That's it. Like, they have had this information for so long. This isn't new information. This information has been passed down from presidency to presidency to presidency. So there's a reason they're just now saying, okay, they're validating it for us. The movies have shown us this forever. And we know everything that's in the movie come from somewhere, some truth to it. So they've been showing us this forever, but why are they just now starting to tell us? Since 2021, there's been 600 UFO sightings. Okay. Now they say UFO crashed and they have the pilot's body and it's a non-human biological body.
I'm gonna say it. I seen some UFOs this year. I went home this year. I was home for like 2 months and I was watching the sky and I'm like, that ain't no plane. Why is it shoot? Like, I was like, yeah, that's got to be UFO. I got video footage in my phone that I sent back to my brothers in Georgia. Like, dog, what you think this is? This ain't no plane. Ain't no plane flying like that. And I'll send you the footage too. But I was like, no, that's something else. Like, and it's out in the public. Because to me, I've always believed the extraterrestrial. I just never thought that they would let us see it.
Right.
And so when I saw some stuff, I'm like,
right.
what's going on? Like, why are they letting us see this? Like, and that's been my question. Why are they letting us see it?
Yeah, think about all those weird, like, military campgrounds. Like, there's some in Hawaii. I'm like, is this where they're like looking at alien sightings or like, you know, testing the aliens? Because I'm pretty sure they've been testing aliens. These ain't the first ones they catch. But I ain't gonna lie, I never seen a UFO to my knowledge. I've seen things that I was like, what is that? That's not a plane. But I don't know what it was. You know, it was so far away I couldn't tell. It was too small in the sky for me to tell. I know. Do you remember that year? I don't know. It might have been like around 2016, 17, something. There was like some sort of eclipse type of situation happen, or like a backwards eclipse, or something that happened, and everybody went. They said it's not going to happen again for like hundreds and hundreds of years. So we went to. And I think, was it when the sun or the moon was supposed to be orange or something weird was happening. But we saw something that day in the sky. Like, we drove to some part of Georgia where you were supposed to be able to see it best. It took us a couple hours to get there. And we saw something in the sky there. But I didn't want to be that girl. You know, I didn't want to be that girl. But, so I don't know.
You saw something. Because I remember we all went outside. I was working at Hanover Insurance, and we all just went outside and started videotaping the sky because of how the moon was supposed to sit and the earth and the sun was supposed to be, and we just videotaped it. And I videotaped everybody that was videotaping it. You know, just like you think it's some cool footage to have one day, but yeah, that was a moment. That was definitely a moment, for sure. I mean, we gonna find out soon enough. I'd tell you that we're gonna find out soon enough. And
putting it out there on TV publicly with government officials, I'm like, all right, they ready to talk.
Right. And I felt that coming for the last couple of years. Did you feel that too? Because I have felt this moment coming.
I felt like they were being a little more like we got to get a people something, but I still felt like they were being very secretive about it, and I just didn't know when they would say anything. And my question is this: why are they so secretive about it? Who are they protecting? What are they protecting? Is it for our best interest, or is the government doing some sort of foul play?
They always say that they're afraid of how humans are gonna respond. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna panic. I never really, you know, I ain't really jacked.
Do you think that we would panic? I mean, I think if aliens got down right here and on Earth and started shooting some laser beams, like, yeah, we're gonna freak out. But to be like, oh, there are aliens here, I think we already feel that way.
Think about how white people act towards black people. I think they would have that kind of response. I think niggas would be like, what's up, dog? What you want? You want this blunt? But I think the white people will go crazy. They go up in school shooting the kids. Yeah, I think white people would lose their mind. They didn't want us here.
I wonder what they look
Now that is the $1 million question. And then there's another belief system that believes that they are fourth dimension creatures, which means you can only see them or access them in a dream state or in a meditative state. They don't exist in the third dimension, in the physical plane where you can
well.
touch stuff. Huh?
That's boring. I
I
want to
mean,
walk up. Yeah.
jive, but think about it. Think about it. Why is everything third dimension? Why would the universe be third dimension? The entire universe. There's got to be. It's what, 5 dimensions? It's something in the fourth and the fifth. I don't know what it is. Don't get me the line, but it's something there. So I'm not sure. I don't have the answer. I'm not coming to you like I know. I don't. My religion is I don't know. I go to the church if I don't have no clue.
Yeah. I don't think some blue and green slimy things. I don't know. I think they probably look somewhat close to us.
Yeah. But I wonder why they're always tall, skinny green beings. Like somebody saw that somewhere. There gotta be something with big
Some
heads. That gotta be something.
There's truth to everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they got some big.
somebody.
If I don't
Yeah.
believe nothing, I believe they got some big ass heads.
Pause. We'll press play. But let's move on to our what the fuck story of the week.
It's the mayor. Stay fly, stay high. What the fuck? You know what it is. What the fuck?
And
Oh, that was a nice little beat. What was that?
that's one of my songs from my rap career.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and I'm glad you asked that because hip hop turns 50 August 6th, I believe. And if I'm wrong, forgive me, hip hop. I'm sorry. But in August, hip hop turns 50. And so I have been putting my music available on all streaming platforms from back when I was a young rapper. And I've been talking about hip hop more. And the songs that I have on the podcast that are my songs, I've been saying it with a little bit more bass in my voice. It's my song. Because hip hop turning 50 and I'm a retired rapper and people know me as a podcaster, but they don't really know me as a rapper. So I'm like, let me remind you that I did do this. Matter of fact, and last week the audio was so messed up and it was just like, damn, why is it so messed up? I'm gonna do it again.
It's the mayor. Stay fly, stay high. What the fuck? You know what it is. What the fuck?
And that's me on the chorus. That's my singing voice. You like my singing voice?
I do. That was dope. That was hot. I liked it.
I'm gonna make sure I get you when everything's up on Apple and Spotify. Make sure I shoot it to you. But
All right.
our what the fuck story of the week. I would say, when I'm from the DMV, so one of our DMV sisters, just hilarious, decided to speak out and say, "Hey, man, I am a woman. You can do that cisgender if you want, but I am a woman. I'm the only creature on earth that bleeds. I'm the only creature on earth that can give birth to a human. And unfortunately, these trans women are not real women." Did I explain that correctly? Did I do her justice by what I said?
You were very nice about it. You were very
Okay.
nice.
Okay.
You went
Cool.
okay.
Yeah. Well, you explain it, Lakira. You explain it.
Well, there was transgendered men trying to tell women born and assigned women at gender birth or at birth and that identify as women that they do not have the right to claim what womanhood is, that they are the only women, and they do not have the right to claim the protection of periods and pregnancies belonging only to them or to us. So cis women, meaning women that are born and assigned the gender woman at birth and that identify still as a woman.
Okay.
So because they're, and so when I first heard that, I went off. Jess Hilarious responded kind of how I would have responded, in a nicer way, but not as nice as you did it, by saying, look, I don't know who in the hell you think you are, sir, ma'am. However, you can't have a baby. I have babies. I have periods. I bleed, something you will never do, although you may always want to do. So don't dare come for what womanhood is. Allow us to have something. And so, you know, that's kind of what sparked this whole conversation. But I gotta say, I feel Jess. Like, I was so angry when I heard that. But then something struck me in the comments. Someone in the comments was like, well, there's actually truth to what he's saying. Well, she's saying. And I was like, who is this ignorant person in the comments and what truth could there be?
Right.
But I hate to say it. As angry as I was, there is some truth to what they were saying.
What is the truth? What's that truth?
Well, there are transgendered men that are born women that still bleed and can have babies if they wanted to. They're not cis women. They don't identify as women. They identify as men, but they bleed and have babies. There are also the them, they, their movement.
Mm-hmm.
They don't identify as women. They identify as them, they, it, their, right? But they can still bleed and have babies. And then there are the intersex people who may be born with a vagina and a uterus, but also inverted testicles. Or, you know, they have like both parts, or they are male and hormones and brains, but have no chest, but have uteruses. And so in that case, perhaps they can bleed and other things, although they don't technically identify as female, or woman, they identify as male. So in those strange scenarios, then this person is right in saying that only cis women aren't the people that can only get pregnant and have periods.
But I think that there's a difference between sex and what is it? Sex and gender, I believe.
There is. So gender is how you express what
Right.
you are. So
Sex
it's by
is
what
what
you
you actually
wear,
are.
how you act. Sex
Yeah.
is the parts that you have and what
Right.
you're birth.
So there's no, if we are considered cisgender, if I'm considered a cisgender man, you're considered a cisgender woman, then there is no other gender that can do what you can do. Now, if you go by biological sex, where this cisgender man, or what would they call themselves? A woman, trans man, can't have a period. You know, it's you can't have it both ways. And I'm speaking to that community. I don't want to get canceled, but I'm speaking to that community.
If they're not identifying as a woman in gender, but they have the woman sexual organs, I get what you're saying. Like, you can't
Right.
say you're a woman gender and you're also not a woman gender, you're a man.
Right. So the gender can only give us so much. And if you identify by the sex, then you can't solely identify the gender. Well, by gender, I'm this, but by sex, I'm that. Like that's like having your cake and eating it too.
Right. That's a good point. That's because I was getting mad that person was making a little bit of sense. And the only
All you gotta do is call me. Like, hey, no, get him. I would have got him. Yeah, got him.
The only reason that I even considered the argument that they might be onto something is because I'm studying. I've been at Kennesaw State for the last year, and they have a love and sex class, and I thought it was gonna be like some romance and getting it in, but turns out it's about like genders and like.
You went there for some freaky shit and got some emotional shit.
I mean,
Dude,
yeah,
that's what
I
you
thought we
get.
were gonna
That's
talk
what
about
you get.
love between men and women and passionate stuff. I thought we were gonna talk about some adult stuff, but we talking about female and male parts and how hormones affect and fluids and so at first I couldn't take the class because all these kids these days don't call themselves male or female anymore, and there was just too much craziness going on with the brain stuff we had to learn, but it did educate me some, and
Okay.
there are people like that, and so I learned about intersex people and all that stuff, so I had to put on my intellectual hat and my open-minded hat to hear where they were coming from. Otherwise I was angry. As a woman, born a woman, I was angry.
Well, that's always a good thing. I respect that. I respect that for sure. I'm gonna tell you some things that I don't respect, and that is when people just being dumb. And I mean, hate to say it, but I just don't respect that, and I'm not going to respect that. And if I could ever find my drop, I would play it so we all know that I don't respect it. But I can't find my goddamn drop.
Let me ask,
Um,
how do you feel about the fact that women were the ones so hard that were, defending transgenders and their rights and the LGBTQ, and now they're kind of taking over everything for women, and telling us that we can't call ourselves the only real women?
you
Like,
want to know
how do
how I feel about that?
you feel like it's our fault? How you
You know
feel?
what? This is how I feel about it.
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
That's how I feel about it. Really dumb, for real. Because I tried to told you, but they weren't listening. And somebody else that I think is dumb is Keefe D. If you don't know, Keefe D is the uncle of Orlando. I don't know what his last name is no more, but Baby Lane, the man alleged to kill Tupac. And the streets knew that he was responsible, and that's why the Southside Crips, the gang he was a part of, caused so much hell right after Tupac died. And we all know this. Everybody knew it. Well, not everybody. The streets knew it. And he goes on Vlad TV, and yeah, I was in the car when he killed Tupac, and I did this. He said all of these things for money and for clout. And he was quick whenever somebody called him out about him clout chasing. Yeah, I'm a real gangster. You don't know what I do, and you talking this and you talking that. But we all understood the fact that he managed to dodge time in prison by snitching on his dead cousin. I remember T.I. got caught up in something like that a couple years ago, but his cousin, who allegedly killed Tupac, he snitched on after his cousin was murdered, and he was able to get out of jail time. But he chose to take that and go to every public platform he could go on and tell this story. And now the Los Angeles Police Department is raiding his home, and they are raiding, they've captured guns, which why you still got the gun? They captured phone conversations on tablets and laptops. Why you still got that? And it looks like if he's not going to be destroyed by it, and meaning go to prison behind it, they've ruined his image behind saying they've recovered all of these things from his home. And it only happened because he kept talking. Who commits crimes and it goes on TV to tell everybody, guess what I did? And that's why I say he gets the don't be dumb award. Because even if you did it and got away, why are you telling people about it 20 years later?
People have their shine, they need their attention for stuff that they did. Like, that's the crazy part. It's like a person that cheat and then try to make sure you find out. They need you to know.
People are doing that.
They
They're
don't
cheating and want you to find out.
They don't want to get away, and you don't know if they're trying to hurt you.
Wow. That's mind blowing that people are cheating and want to get caught. I don't understand this bad criminal era. This is a new generation.
Caught is because she wanted you to catch her. You heard the saying, the
I ain't heard that.
Peters, if she get caught, it's because she wanted you to catch her. Yeah.
Still don't make sense.
It's the attention.
Clout. And clout is the new drug. Everybody wants clout. Everybody wants to be famous for something, no matter how ridiculous it is. And that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on that because I pride myself on not spending too much time on dumb stuff. And that's who I am. That's how you can catch me. You can catch me not spending a bunch of time on dumb shit. But I do want to shout out some people who deserve some shout outs. And this is our Nipsey Hussle, Grinding Shot Award winners, people who've gone above and beyond and earned a hand clap or two.
If it's sports, if it's fashion, if it's music, if it's hustling, whatever, you're on a marathon, so.
Your marathon. If you own your marathon, and I'll tell you who's on their marathon. President Joe Biden. They call him Sleepy Joe, even though we sat here and watched Mitch McConnell fall asleep in the middle of a press conference standing straight up today, and they had to escort him off. So I don't want to hear nothing about Sleepy Joe or he a clone when Mitch McConnell fell asleep standing up at the podium. I don't want to hear no more.
Having a stroke, a silent stroke, or a mini seizure.
They both could be having those. We don't know. They're never going to tell us.
So yeah, that's the thing. They're saying like, yo, it needs to be an age limit on how old these people can be in office. We're not dealing with old senile people running the country on ancient views that are having health issues in the middle of a speech.
That is what I've been saying for years. When Trump and Biden were running, I was like, I don't trust any white people over the age of 60. So I think you should, to run for president, you should be 45 to 60. And if you're older and younger, you can't run. I don't trust no white people over the age of 60 because you grew up at the tail end of Jim Crow. And I don't trust your opinion. I don't trust nothing you went through. And that's just how I feel. And I think 45 to 60, you have to be in that age range to run. Now, if you win multiple terms, then of course, you can expand outside of that. But to run, because I don't want old white people judging what's going on in America today. I know some cool white people.
You don't want all old people?
Let old ideas die with old people. Karis once said that about 20 years ago, and I couldn't echo it more now. We need to let old ideas die with old people. And I feel that way. So these Mitch McConnell, stumbling and not knowing what to say, the platform having to be escorted, that's to be expected. I want to see if he gets as much news as Joe Biden when they called him Sleepy Joe. They both just terrible to me, but I want to see what the media does with that. What you think? Okay, I'm actually sitting here by myself. All right. Well, we'll see if the cure can get back on. But that's how I felt about that, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I do think that Joe Budden signing a proclamation to create the Emmett Till Monument, the Emmett Till Memorial on his 82nd birthday. I thought that was gangster. Emmett Till is a pillar of American history, being murdered as a child, having his mother have that picture taken and put into newspapers and magazines. And that is what really turned the civil rights movement. I hate that Emmett Till had to die for that, but his death did not go down in vain. It changed the course of the country. His death changed the course of this nation. So Emmett Till is not only a martyr, but he's a legend. He's a monument in and of himself. And for Joe Biden to sign that into existence this year on what would have been his 82nd birthday, it's just amazing. And knowing that 2-3 years ago, the white woman that accused him of whistling at her recanted her story and said that he didn't really whistle at me. And she just didn't want to die with that guilt on her conscience. And knowing that we lost Emmett Till at 14, he would have been 82 today over a lie. I think it's the least that Joe Biden could do. It's the least that the American government can do. And I am appreciative that he will have a monument and he will go down in history. I hope the true story that she lied on him is the story that's told, and not that he was killed for whistling at a white woman. He was killed because a white woman lied and said he whistled at her. Kara, what you think? Okay, she seems frozen, so I'm gonna keep it going until we can get her a fully functional and operational. Angela Yee, formerly of the Breakfast Club, has purchased a building that she's going to use for minority women who have been incarcerated and getting out of jail and trying to start their new lives and moving on and moving forward. I think that's gangster, man. I love it. I appreciate it. Angela Yee is like half black, half Asian. And I'm not saying that to disparage her. I'm just saying that to say it feels really good that she's identifying with her minority heritage and she's doing something that's actually going to count. She ain't just throwing $10 or $100 or $1,000 or something. She's throwing thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars at something that can help black women who may have taken the wrong path at an early age, and I can't do nothing but respect it. Matter of fact, where the hell is my round of applause? Definitely feel that, Miss Angela Yee. Let me see if I got Lakira back yet. Lakira, you okay? Wait a minute.
Hey, sorry about that. My phone is saying that it's overheating. I don't know why.
It's just damn Georgia heat. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like your phone is overheating.
All right, I want to go into this or that, and I thought this was a very interesting one. I was talking about it on the internet today, and I want to, if I can find it, I swear all these apps and memes, I can barely find what I'm looking for. But here we go.
This way you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. This kind of fast. Come on.
So this week's this or that is: would you rather be familiar with someone the potential partner has dated, or do you not want to know nothing at all and don't want to know anybody they could have ever known ever in life? With me, I've been in a few different situations, but I have found that I would prefer not that I don't mind that if someone I'm interested in, my person, my woman, has dated multiple people. I'm not one of those. I'm not a shrewd. I'm not. Oh, you had to be a virgin when I met you. I wasn't a virgin when you met me. I don't give a fuck. But when you dating people that I know or have proximity with, that's a little weird. That rub me a little funny. I'd be like, one, I know how dudes are. I know dudes chase after girls I dated. And I know that they thought that gave them a leg up on me. Like you had sex with a girl I dated last year. Whoop-de-doo, my guy. I hope that meant as much to you as you say it did. And I know how that looks. And being Eskimo brothers with men, an Eskimo brother is at whatever point in time, at some point in time, you and this other dude dealt with the same woman. And just you slept with the same woman.
I never heard that term before.
Well, that is a term. It's Eskimo brothers. That means that not necessarily at the same time, but like it could be 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it could be a week ago, or it could be at the same time. And you are now Eskimo brothers. And I don't really run from the Eskimo brother thing, but it does shade it or something. Like I would never date a woman that dated a dude like a homie, like a real friend. Like, I don't care how bad y'all know how I feel about Ashanti. Y'all know how I feel about Ashanti.
But if she dated the homie, she off limits.
She off limits. Like, I don't want to do it. Now, this is gonna sound real hypocritical to people that knew me 10 years ago. People grow, people change. People change.
Disclaimer.
I'm almost 50. People, I know I don't look it. Trust me, I know I don't look it. But people change. And smashing the homie wasn't a thing to me before when I was younger. But now I'm like, I mean, I've been saying this. I would never, if one of my boys liked a woman, I wouldn't deal with her. He didn't have to date her. If one of my boys was like, I feel you like her, man. She got her head on straight. I'm feeling her. Like, she could people's, and they never went on a date. She's still off. Still. And I saw a post on Facebook actually last week, and it got me to thinking because I had dudes a dude that came up to me and was like, "Yeah, I see you with your girl. I see y'all doing y'all thing. Man, I would never try to holler at your girl. I respect y'all relationship." And I didn't ask him anything. So whenever you start volunteering stuff, I started going, "Why are you telling me?" This is a weird thing. Like, you just felt like it's Friday. You just want to tell me that you would never holler at my girl. Now I know you're the first one that's gonna holler at my girl. And when we broke up, she told me he was the first one to try to holler at her. And I think that's just weird. I like that's weird or shit. But some dudes get a pleasure or whatever out of dating a woman you dated. Like, they think that's hot. Like, oh, you mess with him? Yeah, I'm gonna get him next. That's some weirdo.
If he had her and I can get her,
But that makes him better.
that raises my my clout or whatever.
Okay. And then at the same time, I think some dudes.
I mean, they gotta think highly of you.
That's a fact. And some dudes and dudes they try to keep women away from men. Like, don't say hi to him. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like, that's a part of the game too.
Oh,
but,
yeah. They'll definitely, throw salt on your name real quick.
Factory.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that if I had to pick between a woman that's dated someone that I might have been like cat a corner to or never dating anyone I ever knew, now I'm kind of like, unless you're from a different town, you ain't dating nobody I know. Like, you ain't seen nobody. Like, the circles I run in, because I run in a particular circle. Well, let me check that. I thought I ran a particular circle. I run predominantly in a particular circle, but it'd be outliers in that. I guess I would prefer that the woman didn't date anybody in that, but dating someone in it isn't an automatic no. But if you gave me the choice, I would probably choose no. Didn't. What do you think? How do you feel about that?
I would ideally not want to know someone that the person that I date and I'm interested in has dated. But, if that person isn't someone close to me, or if it's a situation that's so far removed that it like nobody's impacted by it, then okay. But like, if it's somebody that like I consider a friend, or even like I'm acquainted with enough that we've hung out in the same section at the club and I don't even know you like that, but then that's a no-go for me. That's just I don't know. It's like, why? There's so many people in the world.
I agree. And when I seen that post this week, I was like, this is my this or that. This is 100% my this or that.
There's so many people in the world. You don't have to.
Yeah, that's how I feel like when dudes like smash their man girl. Like, that's your man.
All the other women in the world that you
all the women in the world
had to have that one.
You gonna betray your boy and you gonna do this? Well, even if y'all not friends, it's like I'm not going after no I'm not intentionally going after no woman that's dated nobody around me. But people be dating their boys. Like, they be going at their, like, that's my homie girl.
But you know what? I gotta look at that female sideways. Like,
Facts.
sis, of all the men you could have got, and it's much easier for you than it is for him. Of all the men you could have got, why him? Why your ex's friend? I gotta look at her sideways. You know, and the problem is this. We gotta stop acting like there's nothing wrong with these type of scenarios. The other people, the other people, they do this shit all the time. It's all over TV. However, we gotta start shaming people for the wrong things they do, and not turning the other cheek and saying it's not my business, because then they keep doing it. And you shame someone and say, no, you're dead wrong for doing it, then they don't want to do it, and the other people around them that seen them get shamed don't want to do it. It's just no reason.
I'm with you. This new generation don't feel shame for some reason. So I don't know if it'll work, but I'm with you in how you thinking about it. These motherfuckers don't feel no shame. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm with you though. Netflix and chill. What the hell does it mean? Where my drop at? I'm doing all my drops tonight. Where my drop?
Netflix and chill. What does that even mean?
What does it even mean? So in Netflix and chill, I watched the movie, Jamie Foxx movie, They Clone Tyrone. It's only been a week, so I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I am going to say a couple things. It's a funny movie. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh a lot. There are a couple times Jamie Foxx went off script. You could tell he went off script. Like that's Jamie wrote that line. And it's funny as hell. There's a couple times I just laughed out loud, like, this fucking Jamie Foxx. Like, that wasn't in the script. And I know it wasn't in the script, but it's funny as hell. And there are times where the storyline is, because it is a satirical, I'm going to get you, sucker. We're going to point out all the exploitation things. We're going to point out everything that's wrong in the community, but we can do it in a coded way, in a way you might not get the first time you watch it, but we pointing it out. And I love that, because I think you really have to watch this movie at least twice to fully grasp it. And I thought that was how I felt. And then I seen Solomon the God say the same thing. Like, nah, you gotta watch this movie twice before you come talk to me about it. I was like, oh, it is that good. It is what I think it is. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think this is going to be my movie. Like, whenever I got company and we all chilling, like, what y'all want to do? Let's watch They Clone Tyrone.
It's like Friday.
Yes. But it's a little more intellectually stimulating. So you get the
brains. It's still kind of hood. It's still kind of thuggish. It's still like, the comedy to it.
All that. But it makes you think a little bit too. And that's what I appreciate, because it gives you everything you're saying. Make you think a little bit. And I
so
like,
it's like Friday meets Get Out.
Damn. Yes. Where a round of applause at? You nailed that shit. Like, goddamn. You really... that is how I'm explaining this movie from now on. What the hell is the name of the movie? What's the name of the movie? They Clone Tyrone. It is Friday meets Get Out. You nailed that. Almost like It is Friday meets Get Out. And that was perfect. So yes, it is Friday meets Get Out. And I don't want to ruin anything else. I'm not gonna say anything else about it. But I think did you want to add anything?
No, that was it.
Yeah, you nailed it. Also, Secret Invasion on Disney. This is a Marvel movie. a Marvel series starring Nick Fury, and it is about the Skrulls. These Skrulls were a race of people from another planet that was destroyed that could imitate or look like anyone in the world. So they could just imitate me, imitate Kara. They could just be Barack Obama. And they came here and we sheltered them and we helped them as long as they did certain things for us. And all I'm gonna say is, yeah, right. And all I'm gonna say is, what happens when all of the Skrulls decide to come to Earth and not tell anybody? The name of this show is Secret Invasion. And I think you can put the rest together on your own. Kickbackers, you can figure that out on your own. Kira, are you into Marvel?
I like watching Marvel movies. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a superhero fanatic. Like, I couldn't tell you what everything is about, but you take me to the theater to watch it, and I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. I'll watch it twice.
Did we see a Marvel movie? Oh, you don't know either?
I do not recall.
I don't either.
Wait, what did we see? What? It wasn't that long ago.
A Marvel or a Fast and Furious? It was some shit.
It wasn't Fast and Furious.
It was something. Maybe I'm not sure, but yeah, watch that one. Watch that one.
Okay, I will. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. And where's my eargasm?
This is a fantastic album, man. Let me borrow it.
No, my brother. You got to buy your own.
You too young for that commercial, ain't you?
Yeah, I think so.
That's like a 70s, 80s commercial. And
Oh,
really
yeah, I was not thought of.
They really had the album like, my brother, I got the new album. Ooh, let me borrow it. No, my brother, you got to buy your own. That goes into the Columbia House days, which I know my audience too young to know about. You can spend $1 and get 20 CDs, but not even gonna talk about that. But I will talk about the new albums that came out. And one is Nas's new album, Magic 2. I like it. I like what Nas has been doing since he got with Hit Boy. This is another Nas and Hit Boys collaboration. They've done 5. They did 3 King Diseases and 2 Magics. And this is good. I guess I regret to say it's not amazing. It's not, but it's good. It's good hip hop that people my age enjoy. It's good. Is it amazing? Is it the best album of the year? Is it the best rap ever made? No. It's good though. And I love me some good. You give me some good music, I'm gonna play it. And Nas and Hit Boy gave us some good music. You should play it. Kira, have you heard anything off of the Nas album?
Yeah, we listened to the the clock song or the hours?
Office Hours?
With the 50 Cent?
Yeah.
I listened to it. I was like, okay, Nas with a little bit of arrogance coming in, reminding you that he one of the pioneers in this, taking it back. He had a lot of confidence, so I could respect that.
Facts.
It gave me a little bit of old feeling, but not too nostalgic. But the nostalgia was there.
Okay.
I was happy to hear from Nas again, and then he mixed it with 50, like 2 arrogant ass dudes.
All they needed was me on that track, and it would have been
come through new.
You know what I'm saying? That's all they needed. But I definitely agree with your assessment. And it was good to hit 50 again. And it's good to hit 50 and Nas again, because we all know they had their little feud. So it was just a good record. It was good to hear that. Office Hours, and that's on the Magic 2 album.
I like the fact that he talked a lot about a lot of old school stuff and about a lot of real hip hop stuff. So that was cool.
So what's up? Nas's protege, the artist he signed to his label that went on to do, the Wu-Tang series and other things, is Dave East. Now, Dave East's album, and I can't think of the name of it. It's like the Guilty, the Good, and the whatever. But shout out to Dave East. No disrespect.
Shout out to Dave East.
Can't think of it right now. But his production and the direction of the album, it grabbed me. Because he's been old school hip hop, not necessarily boom bap, but he's been in the lane. And this album,
I like him. He tells a story. He's a lyricist. I love his grittiness and his griminess in his voice, but I like that you're learning something from him and you hearing his real inner thoughts. He's not on surface level stuff. I like that. And then the cadences and the beats and everything with a lot of his songs were dope. You could kind of ride them for a minute. And surprisingly...
Go ahead.
But the other thing is that I heard a lot of positivity in his message and a lot of resilience in his message. And I could appreciate that. I could appreciate somebody that's talking about, I've been here, been through this, done that. And, I'm still here and I'm grinding and I'm still getting ahead. And I ain't worried about all them people behind me that did that. I just love resilience. I love resilience. Women love ambition in a man, so.
Yeah. Well, I do. And shout out to Dave East. And speaking of ambition, we can't end this podcast without shouting out the homie. Where am I supposed to hit? Well, I swear I gotta get another track up. Check. Oh, okay, there we go. Check. So we got to shout out Jaylen Brown, who has signed the largest contract in NBA history, $305 million, 60 plus million a year. And shout out to the NBA. Shout out to black men getting money. Never broke again. NBA never broke again. Do I think he's the best player in the league and he should have the highest contract ever? No. But I think if that's what the market pays, that's what he should get. Yes. That's what the market pays. That's what he should get. That's it. That's all.
I'm all for a young black dude getting it. I'm all for it. Look, you can't make me any happier than giving it to one of our men. And he's a hard worker. He gives back a lot to the community.
Hell yeah.
Charity work. He's not like some knucklehead that's just out here trying to blow it. So I respect that. He working hard. He putting up numbers. He getting money.
And he looks, I do want to overstate this. And I don't mind overstating it. He looks out for the community. He looks out for the players, African-American players, the African-American community. Whenever there was a situation when the NBA players were going on strike or they weren't going to play because of the murders in different cities and NBA towns, he was right there. And he spoke, I hate to say when people speak eloquently or people speak, I hate that, but he speaks so well. I hate that when they say that about us. But you give me
there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that someone is articulate. Yeah, I think that that's something that should be acknowledged amongst all races. Don't expect us to not speak well, but when someone does speak very articulately and can express themselves thoroughly, yeah, get him some clout for that.
Okay.
I respect that about him, and he's so young. Absolutely.
And got him a little thing on his arm. You know what I'm saying? He looking like No Breaks knew about that. He got him a little thing on the arm. You hear me?
She need to be ashamed of herself.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you called her raw. I'm not gonna call her raw, but I'm glad you did.
She need to be ashamed of herself. He's like 24 and she's in her 40s. But he got that check, and I guess she said forget it. But she need to be ashamed of herself.
Ain't nobody else got that check. He the largest NBA contract in history, so ain't nobody else got it. Ain't no number two.
Hey, look, she's very strategic in her dating, though. I'll say that. Bernice Burgess is strategic in her dating, but it don't seem like she's been successful. So I don't know.
I mean, she nailed it. You know, they've been together a couple years. He just got a contract, so she was forward thinking. She was very forward thinking.
Has it been a couple years?
At least a year, right? I mean, he just got the contract yesterday.
I want him to date somebody his age. Can she get him babies?
I don't. Well, with $300 million, maybe.
She probably froze some eggs. Bernice been out for a minute. She probably froze some eggs.
Probably.
She gonna secure that bag. I see what she doing.
Oh, always.
This would be the richest guy she's ever landed. She's never dated anybody in that type of bracket. So.
Nope. Well, me, but aside from me, you know what I'm saying?
You want Bernice or Ashanti? Pick one. See, that's what I'm saying. Make her pretty.
Shernice. But Bersanti?
I know Shernice in College Park. I'll hook you up with her.
That's a bet. I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We are coming off of I say we, but the podcast is me, and then my friends that choose to help me out. So I and my friends that choose to help me out are coming off of the best month ever in July, and we got another week left, so we can further push that number. And I've had people that was started with me and they're no longer here. Shout out to them. No love lost. But it's amazing that I'm seeing this level of success when it's me by myself and just my friends that are willing to help me out. And speaking of that, Kira, I appreciate you. You are one of the friends that chose to help me out and come on this platform and have good conversation, great conversation with me. And we are in the middle of the best month ever. So I am going to be super ecstatic to text you and show you the numbers that this episode does and how far above it pushes us. Like our best month ever is here. This episode could take us here, or whatever. So I thank you for
getting it out there.
That's what I'm saying. So promote it. I'm gonna send you the links, push it, do whatever you gotta do. But I appreciate you for sharing your insight. You always have an opinion. And whether I agree with it or not, I love the fact that you always have an opinion. And that's what means the most to me.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And anybody that want to connect or check out my crazy Facebook page, you can find me on IG at OThat'sLC, OHTHATSLC, OThat'sLC, or hit me Lakira LC Jones on Facebook. Yep.
And I'll post all of that in the description. But is there anything else you want to leave the people with? You got a final hot take?
No, I just want to shout out Angela Yee. We did discuss that, and I do want to shout her out for all the work that she's doing, because I looked it up and that's dope. She's housing a bunch of formerly incarcerated women in Detroit. She found a 30-unit building, and all women own it and are investing in it and building it. And as a woman working in real estate and working in development, I really think that's dope. Thanks for sharing that with me.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, kickbackers, and I'm talking to you because if you watch this, if you listen to this, if you supported this, you are a kickbacker. And I want to thank you for being a kickbacker. And before we get out of here, my mic is acting crazy, I just want to give you your salute. And this is the official kickbacker salute, and then we up out of here. had the volume turned down. So let me make sure I got it up loud and proud so y'all can hear your shout out. Here's your shout out to all of you kickbackers.